Hello YouTube. This is going to be a video, I guess, on Trump and him opening back up the government, and I guess what else would it be on? Maybe Roger Stone, if I get time to talk about that. That's pretty much it. I also would like to mention that I saw the World Rumble, and while I wasn't very pleased with two of the results of the main event, the two main events, I think I don't know why Balor didn't win the title, and Rollins is back in the title hunt. My problem with this is, and I'm not going to say much about this, and I'm actually going to say something good about it too, so I don't think I'm just dissing them. But my thought about that is, I guess Balor seems to be over. I mean, some people say he's over with Marks. I think he's over. He could win the title, and I think he's a potential champion, but he would need to be the demon. Like, they have to play him out to be the demon, or the demon character. And if he goes into his alter ego, or his alias, alter alias, the demon, and he puts on the face paint and goes crazy and all that, it's kind of like Cactus Jack. When Mick Foley would become Cactus Jack, he could win. Same thing for Finn Balor. But that's not the point. That's not what this video is going to be about. I'm also going to say I saw this spot with the Nia Jax. And again, you know, I know everyone thinks I'm a misogynist and whatever you want to think. Hey, let me say this. I'd put the title on Nia Jax. Like, they want a women's heavyweight champion. I make her the champion if she's willing to take bumps and get bumped around by the guys. The problem I always have with the intergender situation was for years there, but whether it's because of Mantel or what, they were not able to have the guys and the girls actually have a wrestling match. The guys would pretty much have to throw themselves around for the girls. I didn't support that. She got bumped around. She took an RKO, in fact. Hey, fine. I have no problem with her wrestling men and even winning the title. And that's all I want to say about that. I want to move on to something else now that's a little bit more important, I guess, about the real world. But like I said, I obsess over wrestling. Anyways. So, you know, it was an okay Rumble. I just think it's weird that they're still stuck in 2015 in terms of who's on top. I mean, nothing really seems to change on that level. But regardless, it's still okay. The Trump thing. Here's what Trump did because of government pay, government workers, because he wanted to get these workers paid, because he knew this wasn't working, it wasn't good for anyone, he saw the Democrats weren't going to work with him, he opened the government back up. Now, you could argue he shouldn't have shut it down in the first place, but you're dealing with obstructionists. You're dealing with people that are not going to agree with him on anything. And keep in mind, I'm not even for the wall. I don't particularly support the wall. I wouldn't have built a wall. I think the wall will be probably a waste of money. They'll probably find a way around it. But regardless, you can't work with Democrats anymore, and they're proving why. Because instead of being glad you opened the government back up and giving him credit for being the bigger man and kind of walking away from the situation or compromising for the betterment of the country, what do? They attack him. Chuck Schumer saying maybe learn a lesson. They're bragging. The Democratic voters, these fucking crybabies, they're doing what they always do. They're gloating and bragging about how they beat Trump and how Trump lost and Trump gave up. The same shit they always do. And again, keep in mind, Trump didn't have to do that, because Trump doesn't have to run for president for another 2 fucking years. And he could have kept it closed for another month if he wanted. It wouldn't make a damn difference, but it would have been the worst. It would have not have been in the country's best interest. He wanted to open it up long enough, I guess, to at least give some of the people their money. And instead of saying, hey, good going Trump for opening the government back up, not that he should have closed it down, because, again, if you're going to open it up anyways, they're never going to take you seriously. They're not going to see you as a threat. You can close it down all you want. At the end of the day, they're going to still not listen. They're not going to go along. He's probably going to end up having to declare a national emergency. I hope he doesn't. That's probably what's going to happen. I don't know what in all details that would entail, what would happen. But they're just proving how childish they really are and why you can't work with them. Because working with them, they don't want to work with you. And if he did fucking do everything they wanted, and he didn't build a wall, he assimilated, or he gave citizenship to all the illegals and did 100% what they want, they would just find something else to attack him over. It would just be another issue. And I've said that before, and that's what they're doing now. That's what I said, and that's what they did. They jumped immediately on attacking him. So at first he was a bad person for keeping the government closed down. Then he gives up. He does what they want. He's a bad person now for doing that. And like Andrew Coulter said, one thing they could attack him over, and what they probably will end up attacking him over if they're even smart enough, is telling the voters, hey, he said he would build a wall, and he promised that for like 18 months, and then he never did. They probably will end up attacking him for that eventually. Because they're obstructionists, they're party loyalists, and that's what they do. But that's not but beyond that, Roger Stone, I can't comment on Roger Stone. I don't know much about the guy. From everything I understand, it seems like a bunch of bullshit. They gave the guy a plea bargain. If he would go after Alex Jones and Roger Stone, but he didn't have to go after Trump or something like that, but he did turn them in, and they're tying that in with Trump because he was a Trump loyalist, or he was one of Trump's kind of right-hand men, so to speak. And again, I'm not sure of all the details. I haven't watched Alex Jones in a long time. I like Alex Jones. I'm not a huge supporter of him, but I like the guy, and he is someone who does some good. Like, he helped give the other side of the argument about that kid in the Indian that I was talking about, where the kid wasn't doing anything. He was being harassed by people, and then they showed that in the news, and everyone's like, we need to kill this guy, and, he didn't do anything wrong. And again, you're talking about a 16-year-old here. I mean, sure, he's not a little kid, but I mean, still, that's kind of crazy anyways. I mean, to me, it just seems ridiculous. I keep going back to gender, and I don't mean to do that, but again, if this was a girl, a 16-year-old girl, I don't think they would have done the same thing. Well, she smiled at the Indian. Come the fuck on. And there was girls in that group, by the way. There were girls, and I guess these were Christians, and they were pro-life. I didn't even know that. I wasn't. Of course, again, I don't care what they were doing. I think they're protesting abortion. They're idiots, but I would not. They still didn't deserve to have these idiots harassing them over, because that had nothing to do with abortion, and they have a right to believe whatever they want. But I didn't know that. I didn't care. It's not relevant. I don't have to agree with somebody to, support what I think is correct. But you also had kids in that group as young as 7, and you have these grown-ass men running around, these religious lunatics, black Israelites or whatever, screaming and calling them white motherfuckers and everything else. You had 7-year-olds in the young group and talking about Trump being gay and Trump, and telling them they're gay and all this bullshit. And it was just really weird. And again, these are homophobes. Why didn't you show what they said about gay people? Because they were attacking gays also. Anyways, I don't know what to believe about Roger Stone. I'm not very detailed on that. I know SNL took the typical, predictable left-wing stance on that they're going to take because they've become propaganda. Stephen Colbert, I know a lot of people like him. I liked him when he was against Bush, I guess. But I also have to admit, there's something about that guy I've never trusted. He just seems kind of like a dude you see when you walk into a bank. I mean, that's just, But they gave him the Late Show, and they made all of entertainment and news and all the news and information you get political. And that's exactly what they do in communist Russia. Through propaganda, they try to create culture and to control what people believe. And if this video seems a little bit rambling, it was. At first I was going to make it dissing WWE, but then I decided not to, Because, it wasn't a bad Rumble, and it was an okay Rumble. I just don't like how they're still stuck in 2015 or 14, and they haven't really evolved the sport any. But that's pretty much the video. I didn't really have much to say. I just wanted to give my thoughts on Trump opening back up the government and why he did the right thing, and he was a bigger man, and he still gets shit on by these idealists and party loyalists that are not ever going to agree with him, or they're never going to cross the fence and try to, they're never going to cross that line and try to shake hands or run the country more appropriately, and then Trump gets the blame. So that's just what I wanted to talk about. Trump didn't really do anything wrong here. They did, and that was my opinion. Peace, 666.